welcome to this program. And I always like to, exactly, I always like to think about like how me and my guest met. Do you
Mm,
remember how we met?
I do. It was the socially relevant film festival, and I was moderating a panel. And I don't know, I saw you come in and go out and talk to this person and that person. And I was just like, who is that? You had this, outfit, this energy, this outlook on life. And I don't know, I just was like, hi, I'm Toni. Who are you? And what are you doing? You really just, I don't know, something warmed my heart.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Yeah, same thing. And you were helping the table, and I'm sure it's a volunteer work. No one is really, yeah, volunteers getting paid. And yeah,
Yes.
there's something about you, and we talk about film, and we talk about scheduling, and finally you're here.
Yes.
Now, yeah, so filmmaker and artists, they're very much related. Yeah.
Mhm.
So tell us a little bit about your journey became an artist. One
Mm.
thing I need to mention is you were born in Australia.
Yes,
Yeah, tell us a
absolutely.
little about your background first.
Okay. Yes, born in Australia and, kind of grew up in, from the farm to in the city and was, I guess, maybe 22 when I left home. I went to London first and then DC and now New York. So I've been away now longer than I lived in Australia, which has been, fascinating to see other parts of the world, but also to have such a beautiful memory of my own country and all the things that I love. And then I landed in New York. I guess I always thought I was meant to come here. I just didn't know how, and now I am. It's been amazing. 14 years.
Beautiful. So
Mm.
tell us a little bit about who inspired you to become an artist, and how does the whole thing about drawing and create all these artworks.
Mm. Well, it kind of came about accidentally by way of maybe I don't know, a little bit of like self-savior. In 2018 it was, I had a breakdown and I had got stuck in a narcissistic romance scam and sort of hit rock bottom. And there was something like a voice, and I heard it said, put 3 pieces of paper on the wall and, put it into a schedule and morning, noon, and night, and fill it with all the things that you love or all the things that you've wanted to try. And so I started with like trapeze, memoir writing class, improv, singing, back to dancing that I had done when I was younger. Even things like riding my bike along the West Side Highway for anyone that's in New York, just little activities to sort of um, find my way back to myself, essentially. And, the painting started that I set sort of a goal that I would paint every day something. And I'd never done any of these, apart from dancing, never done any of this stuff before. And I just started to explore and experiment. And, I would try painting with my left hand and try painting with my right hand, just random things in the dark, different pictures, and I would try and copy them or stuff like that, and really just set out on this kind of exploration and I guess in hindsight healing journey that that I didn't really know what I was doing at the time, but I was just following, the voices.
Like when you paint, is follow your intuition, right? And just
Yeah.
it's interesting. I think everyone should try that, because wanted to I wanted to paint, but never really did it. So yeah, let's see. I actually saw a short video of you
Mm.
mm, doing that, and let me see. I'm trying to find it because they all yeah, they all look the same. Sorry.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, let's see. Camp. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Let's see if this resonates. Oh yeah, okay. I'll play a little bit, okay?
Okay.
This is from your website.
Oh, cool.
Can you see it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that looks great.
And let's play a little bit, okay?
After spending so many years away from creating, I guess the breakthrough moment for me was actually allowing myself the freedom to be an artist, not just do art on the side and or I happen to be creative. Is actually no, I'm an artist. And to now build that into my daily practice, I write every day. I paint, at least a couple of times a week. That's really, I think, a gift to give to yourself. And I think the second part of that is that when I started shifting those learnings and teachings to children, to teach them about themselves, to give them tools to work through self confidence and trust and self worth and all of those things, that I knew that I could help future generations. We are just the vessel that is here to deliver these learnings, these experiences, these messages to each other, to ourselves, to our children, to the future, to our ancestors. The concept of art is actually what became the savior, not me. Hmm. Okay.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah. Um, this is very well put together. The shooting, the video, and you must have a very good collaborator did that.
Yes, yes, Jill. She's amazing. She came along a lot of the journey with some of those kids' camps with me, and it was incredible to capture, just the live element of what they were doing and how they were reacting in the moment. It was a lot of fun.
Tell us a little bit that there's a big artwork behind you,
Mm.
quite big. And what do you call this? What's the material you were using, and what do you call? Do you have like a one word style?
That's crazy. Well, I would love to say that this is one that I did, but this is an acquisition that I found in a
Oh,
um, upstate in a vintage store for something like $200. It was a really famous English artist, and the guy said he felt like he was living in an aquarium. And I saw it, and I just had to have it. And so
that's
that one,
beautiful. That's
isn't it
beautiful.
amazing? And the paint is so thick. I've never worked with oils. Most of
Yeah.
mine have been acrylics or watercolors.
Uh-huh.
I dream of one day having the space and the place to be able to do the thickness of it. Yeah, it's really beautiful.
There's more work behind you, so tell us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. This one up here, I have a whole collection called Take Two, and these are all from that collection. And these are works that I found off the side of the road or, in trash piles and things like that, that were left behind. And then I sort of put my stamp or my creation on top of them with different patterns and styles. This one, cut up out of was actually for a friend's birthday in terms of an astrology sort of painting, and it reflected her astrology between her moon and her sun and her rising. So cut out bits of paper and then also, the different prints behind it. So yeah, a lot of fun. Portraits are something else that I love to do. It's one of the things I do with the kids as well. Working through identity and how do we see ourselves is really, really important in terms of like the journey of reconnecting with ourselves.
So when you say kids, I know you work with the community and you're very involved with
Mhm.
the kids. And I saw actually some of the videos. Yeah, done. So how do you reach out? Are you like talking to people near you, or how do you reach out your community or any community?
Yes, it's sort of followed me wherever I've gone. So I live in a town, which is in New York City, and it has quite a large community of kids. So I reached out to the local people that run all the activities here, and that's where I started the first camp for kids, which was really based off that camp that I created for myself. I felt like I needed to offer it to children, so I spoke to them, and they enabled me for a couple of summers to put it on, and I had sort of a collection of maybe 15 kids over the time period that we had maybe a 6 to 8 week time period too, so you really get to have that continuity in that creation. Another time I was in Virginia, working on a job down in Leesburg, and there was a local community center there. So I just stopped in and was like, any chance you would be open to doing a kids art experience? And they were really open, so we did 8 weeks there as well, which was really amazing. So just really like tuning into people I find and see, and then just kind of offering the package and putting it up. It's been great.
So you're
Yeah.
like you're wearing lot of hats.
Yeah.
Not only you're artist and you make film, and you are really a producer and entrepreneur in
Yeah.
many ways. Yeah, so that's really wonderful.
Yeah.
Um, so tell us, segue to film.
Mhm.
How did filmmaking all came together?
Come into the mix. Yes. Well, you mentioned production. So I would say my I don't know, shadow career or my original career for 20 something years was in event production. So I started,
Event. Oh, event.
yeah, I
Uh-huh.
started with BBC in London, and then I went to an event agency in DC where I did a lot of diplomatic galas, balls, big sort of things like that. And then I came back to New York and worked in BBC as well. And I did things like Comic Con, TCA, lots of upfronts and those types of experiences. And then left uh, BBC 2015 and started my own company, which has been 10 years now of event production. So I had a lot of that background of understanding like the guest experience and how to sort of engage teams and things like that. Um, so going back to when I started all of the art and the improv and things like that, was I guess I had so much in a lot of that relationship or that experience I went through, I didn't speak up for myself. So when I sort of cracked the nut, let's say, it all started coming out, and I was writing a lot and poems and stories and different things like that. And someone had mentioned, musical improv, and then I learned about song structure, so I started turning some of the poems into songs. Then I was doing acting classes and things like that, and applying to go into a lot of films. And I was just sat down one day and I was like, well, writing a film can't be that hard. So I sat down one weekend and wrote my first feature, and that was a very um, say a very raw and literal story, kind of based on exactly what happened to me, which I think was great, but very amateur on a lot of levels. And so eventually I just started sort of modifying that story and seeing how it could shift into sort of different ways to tell it that didn't have to be so specific, if that made sense. So then I applied to be the lead in a friend's film that was doing their directorial thesis program at NY NIFA, I think it's called. And so I became Laura, the lead of her film, and that was an amazing experience being on set. And again, all that production background came in of all the things that I'd seen and being able to watch what was happening. And then I wrote this. Actually, I think going back one step, I went to Chile in during COVID, and in that experience, I went on this retreat, and the person that drove us there dropped us off and then went off somewhere and came back 3 days later. When they went off somewhere, they saw this old man on the side of the road walking along. And so they picked him up and they drove him to sort of the next stop. And they felt like this person had sort of all the answers to the universe and all the, every question, but they didn't ask them any of the questions and dropped them off. 3 days later, picked them up, came back again and noticed they were on the same road and picked them up. And so that just, I don't know, stuck in my mind as I guess as a storyteller or someone that was sort of newly learning and sponging up all this information about telling stories. So I wrote it down, came back, and then there was an opportunity for a script writing competition. So I started to write that script, and then it just evolved into sort of a thinner version. And then the friend that I made the film with said, "Why don't we film it?" And within about 2 months, that film was in the can, and that became Meeting Mr. Oscar, the movie that you saw. So it was all very much, I don't know, accidental, cosmic breadcrumbs that just kept sort of falling into place, and it made sense, and it was a lot of fun, great experience. I think you're
Try to avoid echoey. I watched that film, and it's very profound. You have to watch this until very end. Yeah,
mm,
because the process is quite so called not fast, because
mm,
nowadays, right, people's rhythm so fast that people can only watch 60 seconds. That's too long a video. So but that is the process. And very patiently to witness this whole journey, how it goes. Yeah. So
Mm.
should we watch the trailer?
Yeah, that would be amazing. I love
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Let's see. I think this might be it. Hold on.
Mhm.
Okay. Here we go. And where's the trailer? Media. Okay. And you have. Should we watch this one
Go to the one above.
here? Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
You're right.
Sir, I can give you a ride. I need to know where you're going so I can take you.
Any road you take, it's just fine with me.
So where are you going every day?
I go to build my castle.
So I'm going to take a ride up here and then another ride. Is it going to work for you?
Why enjoy just one place when there's so much to enjoy?
Can I just call you Mr. Oscar?
If you wish.
That's great. That's great. Coming back. So tell us a little bit how you became an actor. You're so natural. And
Mhm.
are you like oh, is it another intuition in like intuitively you're good at that?
I I I guess so. I think maybe I've just been I always think about my mom. She always said that she's been in training her whole life to be an actor, and she did some acting, a few years back, and we were very excited about sort of sharing that. And I think maybe there's just some part of me that loves um to dissolve. Maybe it's the Pisces or something, to dissolve into someone else. And I think because Audrey is me to some degree, she was also a lot of other women, that as I mentioned, my film collaborator. I think there was a lot of her story in it too. There's something about just I don't know, finding that way to share it, and allowing myself to step into something completely different, that shape shifting that is very, it's like a kid. I think that first film that I did, I'd heard something, I think it was Michael Caine, that said, everyone is there waiting for you to, step into that role. So go for it. And I was playing sort of a psychological thriller. And then everyone was just like, you were so scary and crazy. We were scared of you. Yeah, it's something, I don't know, it feels very natural and very easy to um, take on those emotions and that story and let it sort of almost, I feel like I didn't have to do much. It really came out on its own.
And also the advantage of that you wrote and you are the director, and so there's the deliver of the message is so direct. It
Mm,
doesn't have to go through right from the script, then from the director, and the director,
right.
giving direction to the actress or actor. Right, it's like two more steps.
Yeah, that's so interesting. It's one of the things when I was in those acting classes, I remember the teachers often commenting that I was very sort of all over the place and, in my body. So I think there was something so profound that was accidental, but really fantastic. Again, being in that truck, I had nowhere to go. So not only did I get to witness everything as a sort of new director, of what they were all doing and how they were all sort of building the show around me. But at the same time, you can see a lot of the mannerisms come out in my hands and my face, because there was nowhere else for my body to sort of, to process all those emotions, because
You're
they're
reframed.
yeah,
Right.
totally.
You
Yeah,
can't move too much. Yeah.
yeah.
So the production itself, sound is good. Did you guys? How did you shoot you driving? You have the camera outside the window, like mounted.
Yes, we had most of the shots mounted on the front of the trailer,
Uh-huh.
and then I feel like we didn't do any side mounting. There
Mm,
was a couple, that were actually done where I was driving it, not on the trailer, where the Steadicam went
mm,
past us, and then a few from sticks, kind of the medium and long shots, on the field. But
yeah.
yeah, it's pretty amazing watching all that come together.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Oh, I wanted to thank some of our audience, and I know people listening and watching us.
My
It's like
friends.
a podcast. You can just watch and do your dishes, and
I love that.
and then we have people make comment. Thank you so much, Shark
Yeah.
Fin. We have a Joan.
Hi, Joan.
Joan, yeah, is here, and also
Mhm.
Danielle is here, and yeah, thank you so much to join us. It meant a lot when you write, and we also like to hear your questions for
Mm.
Tony if you have any. And so continue. Yeah, do you have anything to say? Whoops, I hear a little bit echoey. Yeah, so
So,
mm.
but I'm not in my heavy breathing.
Yeah, maybe when I talk, you mute. When you talk, I mute. But sometimes I forget to unmute. Uh, yeah. So now you are such an event organizer. I had no idea, and when I heard you putting this art show together, I was like, "Wow, how are you gonna? Do you have chairs?" No, we don't have chairs. I was like, oh, I cannot stand too much. Maybe I shouldn't go. But anyway, I went anyway. It's beautiful. And what's the process? I'm gonna play a little clip of. I made a 13-minute one take video for your event. So tell us now. Our title is "In Art We Heal," and your exhibition is also titled that. And tell us a little bit how art can heal and how you put this whole thing together. Okay.
The power of art for me, I think, again, started in that sort of recovery process, but finding a way to actually work through my thoughts and feelings of maybe what was mine, what were other people's, and even as you said about the intuitive painting, to sort of almost capture in the moment how I was feeling to be able to then maybe even create some narrative distance from it, to use those words kind of in retrospect. And I found it helped me process so much that was inside of me. There's a movie, Where'd You Go, Bernadette? I'm not sure if anyone's seen it, with Kate Blanchett. And there's a scene, she's an architect and she builds this incredible house. And then all these things happen. She meets with her mentor, and his comment to her is sort of, if you're not creating, you're sort of a menace to society. And that is something that was really profound for me, because I think all these years I didn't really have anywhere to channel, the energy, the thoughts, the feelings that I had inside of me, and became a menace to myself. And once I kind of worked that out, it then gave me a place to sort of put it down and leave it behind, and make room in the pipe, if one could say that, for more things to come through. And that's been a really profound sort of process, to be able to actually not only share what I've done, but witness others in that process, and then also provide the space, being the segue to the World Art event, for others to have that opportunity. So World Art Day was April 15th, about a week ago now. And I don't know, there was something, again, a little voice inside of me that said I needed to do something. I needed to create a space for people to come together, to share their voices, to offer different perspectives, to offer different, not even just as simple as mediums and styles, but a way for us all to bridge how we're feeling and find some commonality in that human aspect of, witnessing people's feelings. It's very vulnerable, I think, as an artist, to put out your feelings into something then people are going to witness and say yes or no, or I like it, I don't like it, or that makes me feel something, so I'm going to retract, or it makes me feel something that I'm going to engage. So, having all those years of production, and sort of having that bootstrap element of, like, I just know I needed to do something. And then, the venue fell into place, and, Joni that's here today, and Daniel were part of it, all these different people that just came out of the woodwork almost. And then, all of a sudden we, had maybe 20 artists or something, and all these performers, and, the schedule filled. And then, you could feel this beautiful cosmic energy of people just feeling seen and welcomed and available in a sort of a safe space. And that, that means a lot to me. I think maybe because I don't want to say I never had that, but I just feel like I have a role in the world or in my own life to create that for myself. And therefore, because I have that skill set, offer it to others. It's really exciting.
That's beautiful. Yeah. So shall we watch a little bit of that show? So the 13 minutes one take show, I just hold my cell phone and walked from outdoor. By the way, this is happening in Soho. Manhattan Soho is supposed to be a very foo-foo and artsy, and a lot of artists in this space called loft, which is very tall ceiling, and it's like a first floor equals 2 floors, right? So here we go. Can you see it? Oh, okay. You can see it, Tony? Okay. All right. Okay. In art, we heal. This is an art show in Manhattan, Soho. Many artists gather together, display their works. There's all kind of media: painting, sewing, photography, videographer, sculpture. Here is Toni Shortworks, who is the organizer of the whole event. So this is Larry, Russian. How is it? Are you Larry?
Yes, I am. Hello.
And you are?
I'm Joni.
Hi, Joni. Are you an
I'm
artist
Larry.
too?
I'm a writer.
Writer.
Yeah,
Okay.
my husband was an artist. So
Oh, okay.
Joni's part of the responsibility for us being here.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit. I'm Ching. I'm a videographer. I'm always videoing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oops, sorry. So tell me a little bit. Your video. I'm videoing you. Tell me a little bit of your style.
Oh, by my style, I'm from the Dutch school of thought, old Dutch masters, Hieronymus Bosch all the way down to Dali. So surrealist tip, slight bit of that. But my philosophy is basically my work is derived from, dedicated to my great grandmother, who was a midwife, and she raised me. Okay. Sorry to stop because it's like 30 minutes. You can watch it on my channel, Juhl Media, and under the In Arts we hear. Yeah. So now let's back to healing. Just a little bit. Tell us if someone is in the dark, someone is in despair right now. Uh, how would you give them some suggestions, or I would say advice, or maybe, or guidance, or comfortness?
That's a beautiful question. Thank you for the opportunity. I would say my advice, my guidance, my invitation, my offering is to go towards something that you love. And that might be the smallest thing. It might start with a flower, and maybe you find one in the garden, and maybe you get to watch it, you get to look at it. It might find that you maybe just feel the sunshine on your face one day, and you take an extra 5 minutes to do that, or you take 5 minutes every day to do that. Art is about a practice, and whether you're actually painting or writing or whatever that, physical practice of the art is, there's also the practice of discipline and the practice of returning to something that you love for yourself, for the pure pleasure of yourself. So it can start very small. And somebody might have paint supplies that they haven't used, and maybe it's just a matter of taking them out and preparing them for yourself. One of the things that, I did when I first started was I would set it up with the water and the paints and the paper, so that when I got up the next day, it was already there for me, and I didn't have to sort of go through that extra step. And there were those little just touches that I did for myself that I'm not sure if it was my soul or something, but it responded to that. And then, it opened up a little bit more space, and it meant I could breathe a little bit more, or I could lean in a little bit more. Things like the morning pages, if you like to write, starting every day with a page or 2 pages of sort of free writing from your consciousness. Some days it's like, I don't know what to write. I don't know what to write. And other days it's sort of, your entire heart might sort of fall out. So I think, my advice, again, my invitation is start somewhere, move towards the things that you love, and find a way to be kind to yourself in the process. We're very tough on ourselves. We go to paint and we think that they're all going to come out like masterpieces. I can definitely tell you that they don't. But some of that is the joy and the laughter of it, of actually seeing that, okay, that wasn't really how I imagined it. But, there's some sort of humor in that for yourself to either improve on it, or maybe just scrap it and say, okay, I know I definitely don't want to do that style again. I'm going to do something different. So just, I would say introduce some level of play, and, find a little quiet, and listen and see, if something comes to you. And that's sort of really what those breadcrumbs have done for me. They've built and they've built and they've built, and, books fall off the shelf, and, paintings turn up on the side of the road, and it all just started to build and compound on each other. Yeah.
It's so profound, and I didn't even think about that in terms of do little things
Mm,
little by little, because sometimes when you're overwhelmed, you say I want to record a song, right? I can sing my my whole life. I want to record, and then you think about, oh my god, I have to rent a studio, oh I have to have a pianist, oh I have to perfect, I have to take lessons, and then it's like, okay, forget about it. Yeah. So do little at a time.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, little chunks that give you little wins, even depending on like the type of person you are. Sometimes people like lists and charts, or, check off things. And maybe it's like, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm going to sit for 10 minutes and listen to my most favorite songs. Like those little things build up inside of us, that all of a sudden we're like, wow, I've just done 3 days of listening to music. And, something, I think it starts to stir inside of us. And then from there, often it has an energy that takes on its own kind of right. And then, we get to sort of join in. It's a great idea. I love
Yeah.
that.
And speaking of healing, there's actually oh echoey. There's actually a profession. It's called music therapy. So specifically, I haven't taken music therapy classes, but ultimately, I guess you play music to heal your patients, right? And I guess music is such an international language. You don't really have to know. Not every piece, of so-called songs, you understand the word, but you feel the melody, you feel the rhythm, and you feel the mood of the music. So, in different ways, yeah. I was going crazy the other day, like 3 weeks ago. Really want to go to Cuba, so I start to searching movies online, like Havana, right? I just write for Havana on it. And then guess what? I found a movie. It was made like a few years ago. It's called Havana. It is so amazing. Maybe I'll give you a link, okay? I'll give it. It's on. I think it's on Prime Video, and it's about music. It's about this older guy. I'm sorry. I'm sidetracked right now. Telling you about healing. Uh, so basically, it's an older man. He's almost 80 years old. He's in a facility for older people, and he just sits there, kind of stare at the wall. He doesn't know anything. He is a little dementia. So this younger woman who got a job as a nurse to help him. Eventually, she found out he is from Cuba. He actually was a quite accomplished guitar player in the band when he was younger. So she starts to play music for him, and eventually they had a really good relationship. Like a patient and a provider, and eventually the older guy was able to stand up and dancing and very verbal and play the guitar. So anyway, it's called Music Heals.
I love that. I think that's a great segue because actually it was interesting. The older gentleman that was in our film, Mr. Oscar, which was a total universe moment of finding him. He also was a dancer for all those years, and I
No
think,
wonder he can move so well.
and I really feel like his whole, I don't know, say his whole life was kind of waiting for this moment. But he was in his 90s when we met him, and I think, he never had that chance to sort of be on a stage and to see and to be witnessed. And, it was so profound, like the sort of life experiences that he had. And he passed last year. So it was really very special to have found him and then to see him get his, 15 minutes of fame. And we have so much footage of the dancing stuff that, I could have made a whole movie just about that. But I feel like that in itself, there's something, I don't know, from a cellular level or something, it just puts us back together. And I think, there are so many ways that those little moments help people remember who they are, which is really, what our art is trusting in ourselves, trusting in the universe, trusting in something bigger. It's an interesting sort of like invisible benefit or tactic or something, how it comes about.
Yeah, by the way, for our audience or right now or future listen to replay, the film Tony made is called Mr. Oscar, which is this gentleman, and you don't want to give it away, right? So where can they see? Where can we see? It's not out in the public, right?
That's a great question. We have one more film festival we're waiting to hear back from, and then she'll be live and you'll be able to see it YouTube, the website, everywhere. And then you have, I think it's great for youth in terms of, really also looking at mental health and things like that to show people that there's more, more options, different perspectives. So I'm really excited to start the sort of community campaign with it once we get her out in the public. It's going to be great to get her out there.
And speaking of Mr. Oscar, like, how did you find him?
So here in Stuyvesant Town where I live, there's one of those like little libraries, free libraries. And one day he was putting something in there and he dressed like that, exactly as he is in the film. And he was at the library and
Meaning, tell us in the film.
yes.
Meaning very formal.
Yes, he has formal. He always would wear these gorgeous bowler hats or different Stetsons, different sort of hats, this sort of scarf, and then, formal jacket and these skinny jeans because he was so tiny. But he had these cowboy boots and these sort of, really out of another time and place, his era of his clothing and everything like that. But he was always just fully, dressed with big ties and cravats and different things. He was so smart and put together every single day. And he was standing at the little bookshop, and I said, "You don't happen to be an actor or anything?" And he'd actually gone to HB Studios. If anyone that's old school New York, HB Studios with Marlon Brando back in the day. Like that's how long ago he, had done all that acting and dancing. And then we met, and I said, would you be interested in doing a film? And within, a few days, he knew the script even before I did, and I wrote it. Like he just had it down, and he came to my apartment, every lunchtime for maybe about a month, and we would rehearse. I'd make him soup and toast and cups of tea, and we would just sit and talk and laugh. And it was really tricky in the film because at the first I didn't know him, so I had to really pretend that we weren't friends and that we didn't have this rapport. But you can feel it throughout the whole film, and obviously, for those that get to watch it at the end, you can really feel, the love that we shared and the friendship that kind of developed. But yeah, it was definitely a very whimsical experience. He came into my life like that, and yeah, it was really,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow, that's so beautiful. And I like the process you with him. You just like not just offer him a role and then see me in see me in 2 weeks in my set. This
Yeah.
is a yeah, I think you made this connection and the very special connection, and I'm sure he needs to digest also the character, right? Although his dress is very similar, but is his philosophy is also like that, Mr. Oscar?
I
Is,
think
is he close to that?
I think maybe in a way or in a parallel universe.
Uh huh.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's very astute of you. I think there was so much of each of us in it, but in different ways, and we both got to kind of live in maybe the versions that we were trying on. But yeah, that's really cute. He was definitely a very positive person. That's for sure. Yeah,
It's beautiful.
yeah.
I like relationships with older people. Mostly, I met people they're gentlemen. Not that I have a preference, but I learned so much from them. And there's a yeah, definitely definitely yeah, I'll tell you a really short story. I met someone when I first came to the United States. He was 82 years old, and he played with the Chicago Symphony for 40 years. So he was my landlord for 6 years. So I wish I videoed him those days. I did not, so I didn't have a cell phone, or whatever. So anyway, yeah, speaking of film, I just wanted to tag along my own film, which you have seen. Thank you so much. My Yangon Diary is the latest long version. I have a lot of short videos on this channel. I have more than 1,100 videos, including interviews. My Yangon Diary is on Amazon. I have no idea Amazon how long you get to stay because it's been there for almost 2 years. So, yeah, get a chance to see it. You do have to spend like $1.99 on Amazon, but I think Amazon the resolution is better than YouTube. I have it on YouTube right now. It's free, but it's a little scratchy for some reason. Anyway, yeah. So check it out, my film, and it was made of love, uh, micro budget or no budget, on my own money. Yeah. So I follow people um, who supported Andrew Yang for a whole year almost, and then made this film, edited in 8 months, and the whole thing was shot on iPhone 11. No, this thing, iPhone. I still keep iPhone 11. Yeah, because it's special for me. Anyway, yeah. So check it out. And on this channel, I've interviewed more than 300 people. Sometimes a group of people on stage. Yeah,
Mhm.
and so check this. Yeah, channel. And this is replayable. So as soon as we finish, you can watch it again and then make some comment if you can at the description area and comment area. Okay. And
Mhm.
then, yeah. please the algorithm and please us.
Yeah.
What do you say? You're gonna say something.
Yeah, I do. I want to say something about your film. I watched it, the Yang Gang Diary, and I think that the way that you created such a personal story between your own journey and following them, as well as what was happening with the collective, was very powerful. There were times that I really felt the sort of the rise and fall of your emotions, and the enthusiasm, the sort of intensity to try and make something happen in the world as a group, and then seeing sort of like the elements fall apart, but then trying to pick them up. And I think that's something that without it being a narrative, it was absolutely a narrative in terms of the emotional journey that it supplied. And I really enjoyed it, and I think you have a great talent. I even think that I mentioned with the In Art We Heal, the little 13-minute that you made, there's something really personable about how you describe and talk about and capture, in not only through your voice and your speaking, but through the film and the visuals, about what you see and how you feel. And that's something that I think is really special. So I appreciate what you're bringing to the world, and certainly what you gifted us with that little video too. It was really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for watching it. It's a lot of people, it's not easy, not easy
Yeah.
because it's 90-minute long.
Yes, absolutely. It's a big out. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
You're really welcome.
Yeah. So yeah, we are closer to our finish time. I want to do a rapid fire with you,
Oh, I
meaning
know.
short
Yeah.
question,
Okay.
quick question answer.
Okay.
And yeah, so are you ready? And audience people, if you have any questions, please write
Yeah.
down, and we can answer you. Tony can answer you. All right. So
Okay.
rapid fire. Okay. So what's your favorite color?
Blue.
Blue. Not green, not pink.
No, no,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Yeah. What is your favorite food genre?
Ooh. Cheese. Is that a genre?
You're French. It's not a genre though. Cheese
Okay.
is French. Like a Chinese,
Oh,
French.
okay, I got your
Or
genre. Okay.
maybe my question is not.
No, that's perfect. I just interpreted it maybe
Yeah.
because I just really love
Cuisine.
cheese.
What is your different?
Okay, cuisine. I got you. Then I think I would have to say like Mediterranean.
Love it.
Good stuff.
What is the naughtiest thing you have done?
I'm not
Many.
sure if that's gosh. And naughty could have a lot of categories as
Yeah,
well.
whatever.
Okay, let me find one quick PG. Naughtiest thing. I dodged a lot of train and bus tickets when I was traveling in Europe and stole a roll of sticky tape. I don't know why, but they felt very extremely courageous in like countries that probably should not have done that, because if you get busted,
You'll
it's not
be arrested.
exactly. Well, I don't know why, but it felt like I was really, doing it. So that's
Yeah.
my PG version of naughty.
Naughty. Yeah, that's a good one. So if you have 3 months of free time and with no financial worries, which country you want to visit, stay, or city?
Mm. Oh, that's so tricky. I would say India. India. Or
Oh,
yeah. Yes.
nice,
Mm.
nice. Countries you have been or city you have been, you really want to go back right now.
Mm. Because it
You've
sounds
been,
terrible, but I don't have a rule, but I tend not to go back to the same place twice because there's so much of the world to see. I want to keep going on the
yeah,
whole world round.
yeah. I understand.
But I'm going to say Australia.
Australia is where you're
My
born.
home.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's
Oh,
beautiful.
wow.
And I think that, I
Very
haven't
patriotic.
as much time there as I would like to. So yeah, I'll put in
Yeah.
Australia for that one.
Yeah. What's the next film? Next project?
I'm working on two things. One, a documentary about the three women and that were included in that sort of narcissistic situation, to talk about, really coercive control and the signs
Mm.
and how to maybe how to see it and how to move through it, but also to actually the power of women coming together instead of going against each other, which was really profound in my situation. And then I'm also writing a feature, Screaming for My Mother, which is based on personal experience, and some really good stuff in that too.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Are you a sweet person? Are you sweet meaning eating sweet?
Oh wow, I was going to say I think so. Actually, dark chocolate is probably like my sweet bad habit.
That's
But I'm not
good.
really a dessert sort of person. I would go cheese more than dessert.
Oh, dark
Mm,
chocolate is very healthy.
mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
yeah. Let's see. What is your favorite junk food?
Ah, favorite junk. Sprite, a can of Sprite, and salt and vinegar chips.
So much sugar. Oh my god.
I know. I don't do it very often, but that's definitely my heaven moment.
So, do you have a favorite exercise?
Mm. I would say walking, just like walking in nature. Yeah.
Cooking is great. All right. Let's see. I think that's about it. And last question: coffee or tea?
Oh, tea, cup of tea. English breakfast with half and half every morning.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh. Yeah, you have this really mixed accent of British English and Australia English, right?
Mm.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yes. And a bit of Irish if I get drunk.
Oh,
I have a good Irish. I'd like to actually do a whole film in Irish accent. I'm just going to put that out there. That's
oh,
what I
really?
was.
Can you
Yeah.
say something in Irish?
All right. Can I swear?
Yes.
All right. Okay. What are you fucking talking about, Johnny? I fucking told you. Why are we fucking doing this again, Johnny?
That's good.
It's always Johnny too. I don't know why Johnny
Yeah.
comes out, but
How would a British British gentleman say that?
like, Johnny, we've talked about this, and I'm not going to do this with you again. I don't know. A bit
Hmm.
more work on that one, maybe.
Yeah. Not
I'll get
not gentleman enough.
Yes, I think so. A bit rough around the edges still.
Like it has to be like like
Yes.
that guy. What was it? English teacher. He usually Richard Chamberlain
Oh, yes.
played that what do you call Mr. Whatever, and
Didn't he just
he
die recently?
yeah. I
Yeah.
actually I not that I'm bragging about myself. I
Please.
played a Broadway show with Richard Chamberlain played that character, my fair lady. No, not my fair lady. Is it
Yeah.
called my fair lady? Yeah, yeah. Okay, all right. So
Okay.
we're ending this, and last word. You have last word. Do you have
Thank you.
a message?
Thank you to you and to everyone else. Start somewhere and have fun and play and that's
Thank you.
it.
Have fun. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the key. Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Tony, for being with me and our audience. And yeah, I hope I'll see you soon. And, maybe we'll have English tea,
Yeah.
English breakfast tea without cream and sugar. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for being
Again,
with
bye
us.
everyone.
Yeah. Bye. See you again. Okay. Bye.
Bye bye bye.
Ending.